Welcome to Football with Cheese. So in this video, we're going to discuss the Super Bowl, and mainly the Seattle Seahawks are world champions, how they did it, and what incredible season they had. And we'll touch on the Patriots as well. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notification so you never miss one of my videos. The final score was 29-13, but Seattle really could have won by a lot more. Let's be honest. They pretty much dominated most of the game. Patriots got something going a little in the fourth quarter, but for the most part, Seattle was the better team. It was 12-0 through three quarters. I'm getting texts from a bunch of people saying this is boring, the Super Bowl sucks, all of this. Then the game got kind of fun in the fourth quarter, at least in my opinion. Patriots never got within one score, but they got a little bit going, had one really good drive. But 30 points were scored in the fourth quarter, almost 37. All right, let's talk about that. Did you see the long run by Walker late in the game? It would have made it 36-13, but then they called a holding penalty. Now, I watched that play multiple times. There was holding on the play. But for the most part, the refs were letting them play. They were not calling holding. There were a bunch of plays they could have called holding on both teams. That's kind of a trend going around NFL, only if it's egregious. I don't think this hold was egregious, but it was holding. But the conspiracy theorists out there are saying that that game almost went over. If they don't call that penalty, 49 points scored. The over-under was 45.5. Let me know in the comments if you think that was done to keep the game under. Turnovers, big in this game. Patriots had 3 second-half turnovers, just killed their momentum. One went for a touchdown. That was pretty much it. That was the dagger. Like I said, the refs let them play for the most part. I think it was a better officiated game than most of the playoff games. Still wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. I don't know why the refs did not call a personal foul on Josh Jobe. Remember that? And he threw a punch. Not only should have they called a personal foul, he should have been ejected. But I don't know if they didn't see it or they just trying to not rock the boat, kick someone out in the Super Bowl. Who knows? But Seattle got a little bit lucky there. We got to talk about Sam Darnold, okay? Sam Darnold was really good in this game. The stats don't look great, but he was running for his life. There were so many plays where he's about to be sacked. He gets out of it and either makes a play or almost makes a play. Early in the game, he had so much pressure. If he's able to get that ball to JSN for a long touchdown, do you remember that early in the game? JSN gets behind the defense, but Darnold just put a little too much on it. It's so hard to throw when you have that much pressure, and he was moving to his left. It was almost a humongous play. That would have really hurt New England at the time. Got to give Cooper Kupp and A.J. Barner credit. Cooper Kupp, he used to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's past his prime. He's had injuries, but he had a really good game, and I think Darnold missed him a couple times. He had 6 catches. It could have been 8, but yeah, he did really well. A.J. Barner, the tight end, he was a 4th-round pick in the 2024 draft, and there was buzz he could be 2nd or 3rd round, but he ran a 4.840, which is terrible for a tight end, so he fell, but he stepped it up because the Patriots did as good a job as any team this year on JSN, Jackson Smith Njigba. Most of it because of Christian Gonzalez. More on him in a second. But the Seattle Seahawks offense was terrific. I think they're the best team in the NFL. I think the best team actually won. Mike asked me that on the instant reaction we did last night. I'll link in the description. We go over the game in a little bit more detail than I will now. We talked for about an hour, so make sure you check it out. But he asked me if the Seahawks were the best team. Did the best team win? Because some years, the best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl. And I think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFL. It's between them and the Rams, and they beat them. Those are the best 2 teams, in my opinion. But the offense could be even better next year. They need to upgrade right guard. Anthony Bradford, he's just not the guy. That's the big weakness on the offense. And they could add another weapon. Cooper Kupp, we'll see if he's back next year. I think he will be because they have a ton of cap room. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but they could add another weapon besides JSN, another receiver. And even if you don't add a receiver, you get Torrey Horton back. He was a 5th-round steal. I thought he'd go 2nd round just based on his film at Colorado State. And the rumor was he'd go in the 3rd round because he had a knee injury. Okay. Falls to the 5th round. Great pick for Seattle, so he'll be back next year. And Elijah Arroyo, their 2nd-round pick. Tight end. I expect him to have a bigger role going forward. Real athletic, good receiving tight end. So maybe they don't need to add another weapon. Those guys should have a much bigger role next year. Let's talk about the defense. It's incredible. They have 6 guys on the defensive line that could start for just about anybody. Having that depth is just so big in the NFL. Most teams don't have any depth on the defense or offensive lines. Kind of reminds me of those Giants teams that won a couple Super Bowls. Eli Manning was the quarterback, but they had Strahan and Justin Tuck and Emin. They were so deep on the defensive line that teams had trouble blocking them. Now, they don't have a player as good as Strahan on the defensive line, but Derek Hall and Byron Murphy each had 2 sacks. That strip sack by Byron Murphy pretty much killed the momentum. Any chance New England had was pretty much dead after that play. And then the secondary is incredible. Devon Witherspoon, Julian Love, Nick Eminwari all had great games. Just such a good roster, such a good team. And the Seahawks had 6 guys in the regular season with 40 or more pressures. Most teams be lucky to have 2. They had 6. Incredible. And Mike McDonald, the head coach, he played a ton of zone. And they blitzed a lot in the first half. If you watch them in the previous 2 games, they didn't blitz a lot and they played primarily man. And I think that's what New England thought they would do. And that's what their game plan was, to beat man coverage. And they didn't think they'd blitz a lot. I was surprised as well. They did not blitz as much in the second half, but they were up 2 or 3 scores pretty much the whole second half, so why would you? And let's talk about matchups. We talk about this a lot, me and Mike on the Lights Up podcast. Some NFL teams match up better with others, in college as well. The Rams give the Seahawks a ton of trouble, but most everybody else did not. They had trouble with the Rams, they had a little trouble with the Buccaneers, but most everybody else, the Seahawks are a nightmare, and it's a terrible matchup for the Patriots. They have holes on their offensive line, and the Seahawks have 0 holes on their defensive line. So just a terrible matchup, and I'll link it here at the end in this box. If you haven't checked it out, I did some final thoughts yesterday. Around lunchtime, I released a video, and I rewatched some games and realized that the Seahawks were going to win by 2 or 3 scores. I predicted between 11 and 17. They won by 16. Just looking at the matchups, just rewatching those games, I thought, boy, the Patriots not only not going to be able to run the ball, which I was correct, but it's just a bad matchup for them. Just like if you go back to that Carolina Panther, Denver Broncos Super Bowl, the Panthers' biggest weakness was offensive tackle. Maybe their only weakness on that team. It was a really talented team. And Denver Broncos' strength was their pass rushers on the edge. And the Broncos upset the Panthers in that Super Bowl. It's just a bad matchup for the Patriots. Let's quickly talk about them. They had an easy schedule. Probably the easiest run of any team I've ever seen to the Super Bowl. They should not apologize for it, though. They didn't make the schedule. 11 of the 17 teams they played in the regular season, the coach got fired. 11 of the 17. And 13 of the 17 games were against those teams and the Jets, because the Jets didn't fire their coach. The other 4 teams they played were the Bengals and 3 teams in the NFC South, which was a terrible division. No one had a winning record. So, very easy schedule. Let's talk about Drake May. He almost won the MVP. I'm glad now he didn't, because if he did, he'd be getting even more criticism. Like, I can't believe he won it. He was bad in the postseason. He was. Let's be honest. He did not play well in any of the 4 games. He had some moments. The talent's there. He had a tremendous regular season. His future is bright. I kind of feel bad for him because he faced probably 4 of the best 5 defenses in the NFL in the postseason. Because you're going to face better defenses in the postseason. But he doesn't have a great receiving core. It's deep, but it's just okay. It's nothing great. And the offensive line has some weaknesses. I'll go over that in 1 second. But I saw this crazy stat. Bear with me. It's a little confusing. But only 4 quarterbacks have ever won a Super Bowl after losing their first appearance. And the only one in the last 20 to even make it back is Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is one of those 4 quarterbacks. He won the Super Bowl last year with the Eagles. I'm not saying that Drake May's never making it back or never winning. I'm not saying that. But that's just crazy stat. For some reason, the team that loses the Super Bowl usually struggles more than the team that wins the next year. I don't know why that is, but typically that's how it goes. Got to shout out Mac Hollins. He had a very good game. That pass by Drake May, both those passes on that drive were tremendous. So Drake May had one great drive, and Matt Collins, really tough catch, made it for a touchdown. Kind of got the Patriots back in the game temporarily. And got to mention this, Drake May did have a hurt right shoulder. I don't know if it affected him. Didn't seem to. He still had a lot of zip on the ball, but just got to mention that. I said that the Patriots would not be able to run the ball. I was correct. Their running backs, only 13 carries for 42 yards. They did get behind. They were down 2 scores after halftime, so you're not going to run the ball, but only 13 carries from running backs. That's not good enough. 42 total yards. That's barely over 3 yards a carry. And Seattle running backs had 141 yards, so 99 more yards. That's a huge stat. Stephon Diggs was a non-factor. I think the Patriots need to release Diggs. He's for various reasons, but I'm not going to go into it. They save a lot of cap room. That's part of it, but they need to add a number 1 receiver, either in the draft or in free agency. Maybe they add Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers if he's healthy. We'll see. We got to talk about Will Campbell at the left tackle. He was a rookie. He was the 4th overall pick. It was one of those drafts where there were 3 guys going 1, 2, 3, and then there were about 9 or 10 guys that could go 4th. I did not have Will Campbell as a top 10 player in this draft, and the reason is arm length, wingspan is short, and he struggled against the best edge rushers in the SEC. And New England didn't care. They drafted him 4th overall anyway. And he had an up and down rookie year, but played better than I thought, at least in the regular season. And the tangibles are off the charts. Great dude. But he can't play left tackle. You cannot go into next season with him as your left tackle. I would move him to left guard. I'd move Jared Wilson, the left guard rookie, into center. That's his natural position in college. And you have to go get a left tackle, either in the draft or in free agency, because 14 pressures allowed in a single game. It's the most ever in a Super Bowl, and it's the most in a playoff game since 2018, and his 29 total pressures are the most ever in a total playoff. He's just not good enough. He guesses wrong, he has trouble with stunts, he just doesn't have the length to recover if he gets beat. And I think he can be a Pro Bowl left guard. He's a great athlete, but he is not a left tackle. And that is why I didn't have him in my top 10, because I thought he's a left guard, and you can't really use a top 10 pick on a left guard. So, look, I love Will Campbell, Louisiana boy. Love the dude, but he's just not a left tackle. They've got to fix that. And I got to mention Christian Gonzalez. He was tremendous. He was the best player for New England on the field today by far. And nobody this year has done as good a job on JSN as Christian Gonzalez. He knocked down 2 balls that could have been huge plays, and one that could have gone for a touchdown right at the end of the half. So it was 9-0 instead of 13-0. I will talk about him in my video tomorrow. I have 2 more videos planned. I'm going to release one later today, so make sure you check it out. It's the best players at every position on offense, and tomorrow, the best players on defense. It's not all-pro who had the best season. It's the best players right now, in my opinion. And Christian Gonzalez, like I said, will be mentioned. Spoiler. Okay, one more thing I had to mention about Seattle. They have the best special teams in the NFL. When you don't have a weakness on special teams, it's huge. They have a great return man, kickoff and punt, and Rashid Shaheed. They cover kicks well. The punter, Michael Dixon, 3 punts inside the 7. That is huge for an offense that's struggling for New England. If you're starting inside the 7, and they were not moving the ball well at all, that's just a huge advantage. Jason Myers, the kicker, 5 field goals, 2 extra points, made all 7 of his kicks. When you have a reliable kicker, you can take a chance early and not go for it on 4th down. Just take the points, knowing he's automatic. And like I said, Rashid Shaheed, return man, they got him in a midseason trade with the Saints. New England kicked it away from him on punts and kickoffs because they did not want him to beat them. So Seahawks right now, they are the favorites to repeat. It's very hard to do so. Ask the Eagles. And I'll say this. Enjoy this, Seahawks fans. Enjoy it, because you may not be back. This group may never be back. I know it sounds crazy to Seahawks fans. Of course we will. We have the best team in the NFL. We have the best roster. Here's the thing. You guys, about 10 years ago, you beat the Broncos. Then you made it next year, lost to the Patriots. Got some revenge here. And you probably thought, we're going to be back every year the next 5 years. We're going to build a dynasty. And it just never happened. Hey, I'm a Packer fan. When they won in 2011, God, it's been 15 years. I thought they were starting a dynasty. I thought they'd probably win 3 or 4 in a 5-year stretch. And they never even made it back. Thanks a lot, Mike McCarthy. So just enjoy it, because you never know. So, 14 days away from the Combine. I will make daily videos about that. 28 days to free agency, 73 to the draft. It's going to feel like 100, but really excited. Leading up to the draft, I will make about 10 or 12 videos a week. I'm going to do prospect breakdowns. I will do team breakdowns, what they need. I will do position breakdowns. We also talk about in the Lights Out podcast. Me and Mike do it every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Link in the description. And once again, I'm going to link our instant reaction from the Super Bowl in the description as well, so make sure you check that out. If you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Once again, look out for my video later today. Best player at every position on offense. Tomorrow, defense. Share this with anyone who loves football as we continue to grow football cheese. Comment down below. Anything else about the Super Bowl? Any other facts, stats that I didn't mention? Please let me know in the comments. Check this out if you have not, and I'll see you in the next one.